So how to build discipline? That's a good question to begin with. Well, you first begin to build discipline by making a commitment, also known as making a vow. Making a vow that you're going to start practicing this behavioral this behavioral practice that's going to enable you to build discipline, both mentally, emotionally, physically, spiritually, on every single human level. So for example, if someone says, right, I'm sick and tired of being overweight and having a bad diet, and I never work out, I don't have any discipline in that area, I want to build discipline in that area, I really want to succeed and make tangible positive changes. So it begins there. But of course, it's easy to say things than it is to do things. So once you've said it and you've made that commitment, you've then got to take action on those disciplines. And I was just thinking about it before I shot this video. You know, most of discipline, from my understanding, certainly in this human paradigm, is practical. You know, it's behavioral. But at the same time, it's also mental. So obviously, if you want to lose weight and you want to get into shape, you want to get fit and healthy, you want to, all those areas, you can't just sit around and just say, okay, think about losing weight, think about being fit. Nothing's going to change from that point of practice. You've actually physically got to work out. You've got to go to the gym and do those repetitions. You've got to exercise and do that movement, or you've got to go for a run in the park or boxing, right? As you do that more, you start to build more discipline, providing that you stick to it, of course. And that's where consistency comes in, because if you make a vow and you commit to becoming disciplined at the gym and losing weight and in all that area, fitness and health and all those things, but if you just go once, work out, and then you stop, you give up, then you're not going to build any discipline. So discipline obviously takes a certain amount of time and effort and repetition, and in the midst of all those things, you're also perfecting the thing that you want to get good at and you want to get disciplined at, which is something that I really love and get excited about. So you're also building the confidence to build the discipline at the thing that you want to succeed in, right? Today we're given the example of fitness training and dieting, but you can apply the same philosophy, the same principles to anything in life. It's the same procedure. So, it's an ongoing relationship, and that's why I say daily discipline, because we only have one day at a time. And yeah, you can set goals in the future, that's great, that's fine, but you've still got to practice those disciplines daily or consistently if you want to get results and you want to become, I guess that's where a bit of identity comes in. If you want to become a disciplined human being, then you've got to do this daily, you've got to be consistent. Otherwise, you won't be truthful. You won't have any sort of form of the truth in this area, because you will not be a disciplined person, and other people will not recognize you as someone that's disciplined because you're not living discipline, you're not practicing discipline, you haven't got the results. So I'd like to just sort of brief you and go through all the details, because there's a lot of details. There's a big explanation, which is great when you explain it, and when I sort of explain the process and how I've done it and how I've taught and helped other people, and I've observed hundreds of human beings throughout the years on how they've done it and continued and learned. Now, a lot of people misunderstand discipline, and I do sometimes too, and they think discipline is emotional. The essence of discipline is not emotional, and I'll explain why if you give me a few seconds. If you go by feelings and emotions, you will never be disciplined, because going by how you feel will always eventually lead to not wanting to do it. So if you say, well, I'm going to see how I feel today, and if I feel good, then I'm going to go to the gym, you're not going to be consistent enough, because feelings and emotions are fleeting, they're up and down. You can feel good now, and in 1 minute later something can upset you, you can feel down again. Or you can be feeling really good today, and you can go to the gym off the back of that, and tomorrow you could feel terrible. So and if you look at the essence of discipline, you study it and you read up on it, it's not based on feeling comfortable, i.e. emotions and feelings. Is based on a commitment. It's based on the discipline of doing it regardless of how you feel. And over time, that's how you get stronger. Because if it was all about how we felt, then everyone would be disciplined. It wouldn't be challenging. It wouldn't be valuable, because it would just be like, it would be nothing. There would be no motivation. No one would go online and look at a video and be, wow, that person's inspired me. How did they do that? If they can do it, maybe I can do it. Which you can do it, but it's not easy. So it's difficult because of the emotions. And as I said, if it was easy, then it would be nothing to be accomplished. It'd be nothing to be celebrated. No one would be recognized as achieving something that is valuable, that merits that natural, intrinsic human respect from other people. So discipline is not emotional. You have to learn the opposite. You have to learn to be mentally and emotionally and spiritually really tough. And also contradictory to that statement, you've also got to be vulnerable as well. That takes a lot of strength. So there's certain strengths in weakness, but it's not based on feelings, and that's where a lot of people go wrong. Every single year people do it. I've done it too. I'm quite better at not doing it now, but New Year's comes and people make a vow to become disciplined in a certain area, whether it's giving up drugs, giving up alcohol, giving up sex, cutting out sugar, junk, or changing their job, or being a better person. People make that commitment and vow when they're feeling good on New Year's, but a week later they fail to keep up, because they fail to recognize that they're saying these things when they feel good, and that's not what it entails. That's not in this area, right? There's other areas where maybe emotions are significant, but not in this area. It doesn't work. So that's a really good way of understanding the breakdown. And when you see someone and you say, how do they do it? How are they so consistent? It's not because they're better than you. I don't believe any human being's better than anyone, but they're better at discipline than you are, separating your value as a human being. And it's because they've understood the practice, they understand the truth of it, and they've been doing it for a long time. They've built up a tolerance to anxiety, uncertainty, fear, depression, loneliness, all the negative human emotions, and they've also learned how to be disciplined when they're feeling happy emotions. Because some people, when they're feeling happy emotions, or they're in love, or things are going well, they lose motivation immediately. They don't want to go and be disciplined because they feel like, well, I'm happy right now. Why do I need to do it? And it can be a trap both ways. So if you're too happy, that can equal poor discipline. And if you're really down and anxious and not happy, that can also equal poor discipline. But true discipline is being able to act and behave regardless of how you feel. So if you're feeling very happy, still go and do your disciplines. If you're feeling low on energy, down, or still be able to go and do it, right? And that's one of the definitions, and that is the truth of the actual lived experience and practicalities, and the mental disciplines and the emotional disciplines of being able to act in spite of fear and anxiety. And that's also another explanation for discipline. A disciplined person and an undisciplined person both feel the same feelings. They both feel fear, they both feel doubt, they both experience all the same emotions. But what's the difference between the two? The difference is what they do, how they act in spite of those feelings. So it's the same analogy for the hero and the coward. It's been said before, Mike Tyson's trainer said it, many have said it before, philosophers, and I've said it too. I've got a right to say it as of you, because I've lived this and practiced this for over 20 years, even longer actually. And I've been a coward and the opposite of a coward, which I suppose you could say someone that's brave. I'm not going to say I'm a hero. I don't think I'm a hero, but let's say we could all be a hero and a coward, right? In this explanation. So hero and a coward both feel fear, wake up in the morning, oh, I don't want to go for that run, can't do it, can't bear it, can't handle it.
Exactly.
Well, the hero says, I'm going to do it, goes and does it, where the coward says, doesn't go and do the run. That's an explanation. And deep down, people know these things. You know, it can be very, very triggering for people. But usually as well, with great discipline comes real good humility, which is maybe contrary to popular belief. People might think, oh, someone who's disciplined is an arrogant person. That's what I used to think. You know, they're strong. No. And if they are, then they're failing to recognize a real human trait, because when you put a lot of work in, it really does humble you. It makes you realize that you're not better than anyone. It makes you realize that you can do more and encourage others. So the challenge, the suffering, the pain, and the stress, and the joy, and the satisfaction, and all the gratitude that comes with the experience of practicing discipline, it's supposed to humble you. That's the whole point, to become a better person. You're not meant to become an arrogant person, but you're meant to be a strong person as well. Not a pushover, not someone that's going to be bullied by others, and not someone that's going to care too much about what others think, but strong in the right way. I believe there's a certain balance universally for people, for men and women. So humility, you know, being more humble, it comes through the process of practicing the behavioral habits and completing your disciplines, your tasks, you know. So I want to give you some examples of practical disciplines, daily disciplines, and it's maybe not what some of you think, maybe it is. Right, discipline is being able to get out of bed when you don't feel like it, and when you want to snooze and hit the alarm and just curl back into bed, making yourself get out of bed, taking a shower when you don't feel like it. I'm going to stop there for a second. That's discipline, especially when people are, oops, you lost my phone there. That's also discipline. Especially when people are dealing with mental health problems or challenges, or just, you know, however, you know, human nature. That's an example of discipline. If you can do that every morning consistently, that's discipline. Discipline's also saying, I don't feel like cleaning my apartment now, I'm not in the mood. Cleaning the apartment, that's discipline. So discipline starts off from the moment that you wake up. But yes, when we're looking at the kind of more disciplines that most of us aspire to, discipline is the ability to get your shorts on, get your running trainers on, and go out for a run when you really don't want to do it. That's discipline. Discipline is if you said to a friend the day before, I'm going to come and help you today to move house. You said you're going to do it, you make a promise, but when you wake up in the morning you think, I don't feel like doing it. It's not that you're not a good friend, it's not that you don't care, but you wake up, you might have a panic attack, you might feel down, or just you don't want to do it. But you still go and do it because you made a commitment and to your friend and a vow, and that's discipline. It's mental and emotional strength, and it's spiritual. It is a spiritual strength too, character, all those things. That's discipline. Discipline is, you know, making a YouTube video or a live stream when you don't feel like doing it. You know, I didn't feel like doing this today, but here I am doing it. So it's doing things that you commit to doing. That's some other explanations. I would even say that, you know, with your own personal faith, times we don't feel like praying, but we say, no, I've made a commitment, I'm going to give thanks, I'm going to say a prayer for my own faith. That's discipline. Discipline is when you are absolutely craving and dying to eat McDonald's or KFC or cakes or chocolates or unhealthy food, but you stop yourself from doing that and you eat healthy. You eat some salad or chicken or meat or whatever, a healthy diet. You go home and cook. That is real discipline. It takes a lot of strength to do that, especially when you're still struggling with that. So a lot of discipline is behavioral, but it's also, with the behavioral practice, it's also mental and all those things.